Okay. Originally I planned to come out and do some fly fishing, but it's much gustier than forecast. So we're going to do a little experiment. I'm on a selective gear rules like today, so we're going to do spinners versus flies. So I've got identical dodgers on both of these rods, but on this one I'm going to run a little purple and silver spinner. And this one back here, I'm going to do the same dodger, same leader length, but I'm going to run olive woolly bugger. We're just going to do the spinner versus the fly troll test here and see which one comes out on top. Just going to be flat lying them like 50 foot behind the kayak. Not a very wide lake, but long and skinny, so I'll just kind of troll up and down the shorelines. Don't you love it when they forecast 2 to 3 mile an hour winds and then it's like 20? That's the best. It's the best feeling in the world. Oh, here's fish. First one. That's on the woolly bugger. I feel like it has a little more action because it's not creating as much drag on the dodger as the spinner does. I feel like the dodger is really pounding on that one. Feels decent. Yeah, it's a nice rainbow. Whew, there you go. That's a fat rainbow. There you go. Nice fat little football. Let's get him going. Cool. First fish of the day goes to the woolly bugger. It's so windy. It's crazy. So watch the action on that rod tip. See, on that woolly bugger, because it doesn't have the drag of the spinner blade behind it. It's just an overall lighter lure. It allows that dodger to kick a little bit more than this one does. Well, I keep getting that, this one over here, it keeps skating on the surface. I think the spinner is creating a little bit of lift, so I'm going to switch up to a skateboard dodger on the spinner and see if I can get it to drop just a little bit. I don't want to put lead on there because that'll get me all tangled up in the weeds down there. I'm trolling just above these weed beds, so we'll try switching out to a skateboard dodger, see if that stops that from surfing back there. This wind is just brutal. These skateboards tend to dive a little bit and will counteract the drag of those spinners. I can go ahead and switch out to a skateboard on this one too. It doesn't matter to me what style I run, as long as they both have similar style dodgers on them. There we go. Now we're getting a good thump. What we'll do is, since I don't have identical skateboards, is I have a gold one and silver one here, and then I have a silver one there. We'll just switch the lures. We'll make a pass up and down the lake, and on each pass we'll just switch the lures from one to the other. Try and get some balance. Oop, there was a bite there on the woolly bugger. Didn't stick though. Nothing on spinner yet. There we go. Little green woolly bugger's on fire. Doesn't feel like a very big fish. It's been getting hammered back there. It's probably this year's plant. Yep. Like a nice little 12, 13-inch trout. I know there's some big ones in here. Really pretty spotting on that one. Let him go. There's another one. There's a little bite there. They keep chowing on that woolly bugger right there. I seriously doubt it's going to have to do with the color of the Dodger. This one's gold, this one's silver. I bet you I get down here to the end of the lake, I flip it out this, and I put the fly on this rod. This rod's gonna become the hot rod. There we go. Another one. Oh, he's off. Definitely losing a lot of them off of the woolly bugger. Getting lots of attention, very poor hookup rate. Keep the pressure on him. There we go. There we go. This feels like a decent fish. I guess not. Looks like I lost him. Yeah, see, I'm losing a lot of them off that woolly bugger, that's for sure. Oh, there we got one on the spinner finally. Ooh, this feels like a nice fish too. Spinner finally coming through at the end of the lake here. Surprised it took that long to get a bite on it. I mean, that was the first pass up and down the lake, and the woolly bugger fly landed to, probably had like a dozen or more bites. And just at the end here, I finally got one on the spinner. Getting bites on the other one over there. There we go. Ah, that's why he felt big. He fin hooked himself through the back there. I got one on the... He just got sideways hooked. He's a dink, actually. That's funny. Get my hand wet here. Ooh, this guy's covered in copper ponds. Get him going. Alright, let's see what this one's all about. He's still there. Might be off. He is off. He was bouncing around back there for a while. Alright, it's a good opportunity to switch out the lures. For sure, the woolly bugger is getting more bites, but man, is it losing a lot more fish. It's a lot smaller hook, too. Alright, let's do the switcheroo. We'll put the spinner on the gold dodger and the fly on the silver dodger. I don't think this is going to change the outcomes at all, but so far in terms of fish landed, it's 1 to 2 with the fly landing more fish and getting way more bites, but not having some problems here with converting bites into landed fish. So they spit the hook. We'll make another pass up and down the lake here, but right now it's looking like I expect the fly to come out on top, although it's lost a lot of fish. It's already got one on. Yeah. That's so funny. Buggers are tearing it up. Oh, lost him right there. He's gone. Should have had that one, but I sticked it a bit. Oh, this wind is awful. It's been very, very, very windy spring. Windiest spring I can remember. Oh, spinner's got one on. Pretty rainbow. Really pretty. Feisty guy. Lots of big spots on him. Well, thus far, I've landed 3 on the fly. Probably missed 20 or 30 fish on it and lost several. And on the spinner, it's just 2 for 2. There we go. Feels like a decent one on the fly. It's kind of an interesting outcome thus far because, I mean, clearly the fly is getting like at least 10 times more attention, but it's not necessarily landing a ton more fish. I mean, one of those was my fault and that I just botched the net job, but let's see if we can get this one in. This one feels pretty heavy. I don't know if I've got him sideways hooked like I did with the spinner one, or it's just a bigger fish. I know there's some 4 and 5 pound rainbows in here, so these little 1/2 to 1 pounders we've been getting are a little bit smaller grade than I expected. Yeah, this is more like fish I like to see in here. It's these bigger fish. Oh, don't do that. Gosh, this is a nice rainbow. This is what I like to come here for. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's a tank. Whoa. I'm going to pull this in. This doesn't tangle on the bottom. That's a big fish. Cool. That's what I really wanted to get today, is one of these monster bows out here. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That's a nice bow. That thing's huge. It's definitely around 4 pounds or more. See that woolly bugger down in the mouth there? Big fatty. Alright, that's what I come here for, these big bows. Look at that big woolly bugger in his mouth. Awesome. Let's get that fish going. Big boy. He's still shaking his head. He's like, man, thought I was getting delicious lunch. All I got was stuck in the face. Alright, the big fish award goes to the woolly bugger thus far. Let's see how that thing's holding together. It looks good. Alright, let's redeploy. We still got another half pass down the lake and then kind of see how things look. Oh, another one on the fly. Oh, he might have spit it. Yeah, I don't feel him there anymore. Landing ratios on the woolly bugger fly pretty lousy. There's so much material, you know, when they tie that fly, that there's not that much of the hook exposed, so you know, it can't really deep seat into the fish's mouth. It's like somebody needs to make like a woolly bugger, olive bugger style fly with like a stinger hook. That would be deadly for trout. Oh. That one's still on. Doesn't feel very big. But he's there. Try and do a quick release on this guy. It's the shears plant. See you later. The fly's starting to pull away on a number of fish landed now. It's up to 5. It makes sense. It was getting so many more bites. Well, it looks like today the clear winner to me was the fly, which doesn't actually surprise me because this lake doesn't get fry planted. So the fish in here are put in at either catchable size or greater, and the only food sources they really encounter is mostly the invertebrates and insects in this lake. So they don't get to see small fish as a potential food resource because there's no other fish in this lake other than the rainbow trout they plant in here. So it kind of makes sense. Like in some lakes in Washington State, they plant the lakes with fry and then let those fry grow up and become adult fish. And those are some of my most favorite lakes to fish because those fish, as they survive year after year, learn to key in on eating the smaller rainbow trout and other trout species they might plant in there, and they will be hyper aggressive towards things that look more like small fish, like spinners and spoons and things like that. Whereas in lakes like this, where they typically are just feeding on insects and other invertebrates in the lake, they tend to key in more strongly on things like flies that mimic their natural food resources. Or in the winter, I do very well with like small tungsten jigs in here, just because it looks more similar to their natural prey in terms of size and color. So I think I'm going to wrap this up here. I'm going to troll for just a few more minutes and pull both of my rods in But, you know, it was a nice mid-morning start. I just did a couple hours of trolling, and I landed 5 fish here on the fly and 2 fish there, and had many missed bites on the woolly bugger. I think, you know, that's really common for me, is I lose a lot of fish on the woolly bugger because of the hook design on that. And also, I tend to lose a lot more when I'm running them behind dodgers, because the dodger weight itself can help to leverage that hook out of the mouth. You know, at the same time, if you run a fly without a dodger, you do tend to have a little bit better landing ratio, but you get less bites overall too, because those dodgers really do attract those fish's attention, adds action to the lures, and just makes them it just draws more strikes. So, all right, guys, I'll put links to everything below that I used in this video. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye.